What's up YouTube, Saf here on Super Saf TV, and this is my full hands-on review of the LG G Flex 2. So this is the latest offering from LG, which features the unique curved design. So how does this device perform on a day-to-day basis, and how useful is that curve? Well, do hit that thumbs up button and let's find out. So let's start off with the display. You've got a 5.5 inch curved POLED screen, and it's got full HD resolution, so that's 1920 by 1080, roughly about 401 ppi pixel density. Now yes, this isn't quad HD like the LG G3 or other devices, but it's over 400 ppi, which is more than enough and shouldn't be a problem. You've got some very sharp details, great colors, and very nice viewing angles too. So the key thing that goes without saying is that this is a curved display. Now this allows for a more immersive experience when watching videos or playing games, for instance. Not as immersive as a full-size TV monitor, for example, but it's definitely a nice experience. Now, as well as that, having a curved display and body gives you some more advantages. Firstly, it's a little bit more comfortable making phone calls because it fits around your face quite nicely. And secondly, my favorite thing is that the curved body gives it a very comfortable feel in the hand. I mean, it doesn't even feel like a 5.5 inch device. Comparing it to something like the iPhone 6 Plus, which also has a 5.5 inch screen, it not only is smaller in height and width, but it feels much smaller just because of that curve. I would say this is the most comfortable device to use at this screen size. That curve really does help for the ergonomics. Scrolling through content is also very smooth, and it just feels really natural because of this unique curved design. Now the curve also comes with some of its own disadvantages. You can't really use the phone on a flat surface, so if you are somebody who likes to just, maybe text while the phone is on the desk, then this isn't going to be too easy because it's going to slide about. And the back is also quite slippery. You've got a glossy material on here, so it could have done with some grip in my opinion, although this has self-healing coating, which should help prevent and get rid of scratches. Now I'm not into torture tests, and I'm not sure how long I'm going to be keeping this device, so I've not done any scratch testing or anything like that, but from what I've seen, minor scratches should be fine, but if you do get anything a little bit too deep, then that's not going to heal itself. Now let's move on to the internals. You've got the controversial Qualcomm Snapdragon 810 processor, so that has 8 cores, 4 at 1.5 GHz and the other 4 at 2 GHz, and you've got the Adreno 430 GPU with 2 GB of RAM. Now in my experience, this was very powerful, fast and snappy. No issues in terms of speed. Everything that I was throwing at it was working absolutely fine. Now the 810 has been controversial for overheating, and this is something that a lot of you have been asking me about. Now, being completely honest, this did get warm at times, primarily around the top of the back, near where the camera is. Now, I noticed this mainly when the battery was charging or just after it was charged, and when performing intensive tasks. It was still usable, but it definitely did get warm, and this is something to bear in mind. Now, in terms of your storage options, you've got either the 16 or 32 GB versions of this device, but you can expand that by up to 128 gigs using the micro SD card slot. Now looking at the cameras, so you've got a 13 megapixel rear-facing camera which has OIS plus and laser autofocus, as well as a dual LED flash. Now this is said to be improved on the G3. I've not got the G3 with me anymore, but from what I remember, it has been improved. Especially the autofocus is very fast and snappy. Probably one of the fastest I've used on any smartphone. You've got some nice colors with some good detail, and I would say this is a very nice camera. Low light images are also okay, not the best out there. And in terms of how it levels up to the competition, my current favorite smartphone camera is the Note 4. So here are some side-by-side shots. Personally, I felt that the Note 4 was a little bit more pleasing to the eye, but it will come down to your personal preference. Now speaking of video, this does film 4K, so that's 2160p, and I found once again the autofocus worked really well here, better than the G3, and the optical image stabilization also helped get some nice stable 4K footage. Now in terms of the front-facing camera, you've got a 2.1 megapixel sensor that's capable of filming 1080p HD. Now the shots on here were pretty good and should be good for your selfies. I would have liked a higher resolution considering how popular selfies are these days. You still have the hand gesture feature like the G3, which you can hold up and it's going to set off a timer. But the new feature you've got here, which I did quite like, is you can move your phone down after you've taken an image, and it's going to straight away show you the image that you just most recently took. So this is a great way to view your shots very quickly and easily. Now you do have the latest version of Android on this device, which is a Lollipop, but it also comes with LG's Optimus UI on top. Now there isn't many changes here from the previous versions of LG's Optimus UI, but it is pretty nice and clean, and it does give you some nice and useful features. Some of the ones that I liked: firstly, notification toggles are customizable, so these were quite useful. You've got multi-window like you have on some Samsung devices, although there's not that many supported apps as yet. And my personal favorite feature on the Optimus UI is Clip Trade. This allows you to have multiple things on your clipboard rather than just doing one copy and paste at a time. There's also the other features which you have probably seen before, such as your customizable keyboard as well as not code to unlock your device. You also have an IR blaster on this device, so you can control your television and things. This was really easy to set up, especially because of the fact that I've got an LG TV. And another unique element here is that you don't have any buttons on the side. Your power and volume buttons are on the back, and this especially works really well because of the curved nature of this phone. Now moving on to the battery, you've got a 3000 mAh battery. Now this isn't removable, so you've got a removable back, but the battery is secure. Usage wise, this actually got me through the full day on medium to heavy use. If you are a light user, then you may get some more time from this, and it does have fast charging, so that is another advantage. In my experience, I didn't find it to be as fast as something like the Note 4, but it was still pretty fast, roughly about 40% in half an hour. Finally, moving on to the price and release, this should be releasing in mid-March, but there isn't any official pricing as yet. I would expect this to go for roughly about £650 here in the UK, or between $750 to $800 in the US, slightly more than a standard flagship because of this unique curved feature. So there we have it, the LG G Flex 2. Now overall, I think this is a great smartphone. Even if we put the curve to the side for a second, as a smartphone itself, it is really nice. Now I know the curve isn't going to be for everybody, but I did actually find it quite useful, especially at this screen size, this form factor. I would actually say this is the most comfortable device to use at this screen size, because it just really comfortably fits in your hand. So if you are somebody who's thinking of going for a larger screen device and you're thinking that it might not be too great to use, then I think this is going to be a great option for you. Now talking about the Snapdragon 810, about the overheating issue, now I can't lie, it did warm up at times. It was still usable. Now I can't say how this is going to affect the device in the long term, so that is just something to bear in mind. What do you think of the LG G Flex 2? Do drop me a comment below and let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. And if you want to see more tech reviews like this one, then be sure to subscribe. I've got plenty more coming up, and we've got some great new devices coming up in the coming months, which will all be covered here. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on Super Saf TV, and I'll see you next time. If you want to see more regular videos like this one, then be sure to hit the subscribe button, which will be below. If you're on a mobile device, it may be somewhere else. If you want to see my previous related video, then hit the link right here. And if you want to stay in touch over Facebook, Twitter and Google+, then all of the addresses will be there somewhere, as well as direct links in the description below. Okay, if you're still watching, then that means you've not done one of those things, so, you know. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna go downstairs. See. Okay. There isn't really a downstairs. Anyway, so yeah.